Hey everyone! Today we're traveling around Indy to connect with our neighbors. In a big city like Indianapolis with so many people, different communities, it seems like we live in a different world sometimes. But whether you're a North Sider, South Sider, East Sider, or West Sider, we all represent NAPTown. Our team, 360 Power Indy of Public Allies, is going to take a lap around the city today and show you some of our neighbors. But first, a couple of introductions. My name's Karma and I am a West Sider, and my interviewee is the Riley Center.
Hello, I'm Tyrone Chandler. I'm from the West Side, and today I'll be interviewing community assets.
Hi, I'm Robin, and I live in Broad Ripple. I interviewed Broad Ripple Village Association and Goodman House Brewery.
Hi, I'm Carly. I live in the Eagle Creek area, and I interviewed Sharon Logan and band director Melissa Johnson.
Let's get to know a little bit about you.
My name is Leatrice Riley. I am the executive director of the Riley Center, doing business as the Village After School Program. I recently moved here, well not recently, it's been a few years, moved to Indianapolis from Atlanta, Georgia in 2017 and been here ever since. I'm a mother of 3, grandmother of 2, and I'm excited about what I do.
My name is Tyrone F. Chandler. My nonprofit is Community Assets, Inc., and we're an asset in the community. We serve on the near northwest side of Indianapolis in the Riverside area, but we're citywide and accept kids from all the parts of the city, but we are home-based in the Riverside area.
My name is Lisa Hughes, and I am a volunteer with the Broad Ripple Village Association, and this year I'm excited to be taking over a role as the head of the beautification committee. So I've lived in Indianapolis most of my life. We moved around a bit growing up, but we settled here when I was in 5th grade, and I've been here ever since, with the exception of the years that I was in university. I went to DePauw University, and then 3.5 years I lived in Barcelona, Spain, but otherwise I've called this area home.
I am Courtney Guggenberger. I'm a neighbor here in Broad Ripple, and I am co-owner of Goodman House Brewing Company. So my connection to Indy is I'm a Butler alum from Indiana. Then after we went to Butler, we lived in Germany for a little while and came back to Indianapolis to make our home here. So I'm a local mom and business owner. We took a lot of what we learned in Germany and put it into our microbrewery that we opened in 2019. We opened Goodman House in 2019, a small microbrewery on Indy's northwest side, just northwest of downtown in the Riverside neighborhood. And in this past summer, 2021, we were able to open our expansion into the Boyle Racing headquarters. There's a lot of racing history where we're at as well.
I'm Sharon Logan, pronounced she, her, and I am the neighborhood training director at the Indianapolis Neighborhood Resource Center, and I'm a longtime Eastside resident. We moved here when I was just a toddler, and I've always lived on the East Side.
So my name is Melissa Johnson. I am currently the interim director of athletic bands at Butler University. So that is the area that I serve right now.
Tell me a little bit of the work you do in your own neighborhood.
The Riley Center here, we are your before and after school program, but we're not your normal before and after school program. We actually work with the kids with behavior issues, anger issues, just a kid, period, in all. We are firm believers that kids are a figment of their environment, so we work with them to teach them a better way, how to be, basic life skills pretty much, how to be respectful, how to be a good friend, how to have manners, and treat people. How do you treat your friends and your family with love and respect? We focus, since the pandemic, we've been beefing up in our educational department, but it's been rough, but we still pushing through. We have 3 locations right now. 2 of our locations, we have the Riley Center at 4040 West 71st Street and 2 other locations inside of a school.
We have 2 divisions. One is the youth division and the other one is the community division. In the community division, we do SWOT analysis, fundraising, 501c3s, LLCs, SWOT analysis, and did a lot of research for grants and writing and those types of things. And then on the youth side, we do coding, robotics, financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and we also do a rites of passage for African American males and females. Simba, safe in my brother's arms. Simsa, safe in my sister's arms.
So I just started, I got more involved when we came back from Barcelona in 2020. I was looking for a way to get involved in the community. And once, we started to get out more, the Broderpool Village Association, because it is essentially, an area where I like to do my shopping and run my errands. I saw a lot of opportunity to get engaged. I reached out summer of 2021 and I dove in. I started to get involved in cleanup, in covering graffiti, in working with the marketing committee and membership committee, in getting to know all of the wonderful volunteers and the executive directors that are part of that organization. And I've met just amazing people that have a passion for the city and for the Broderpool Village.
So when we opened the brewery, we opened it out of a passion for beer and bringing community together. And we also always envisioned it as using it as a platform for something bigger than just beer. And so we chose kind of from the beginning to focus on the Riverside neighborhood, since that's where we are, and we can make the biggest impact right there in our neighborhood. And so we have give back nights about once a month, and we have chosen local organizations within the city where we can help highlight what they do, and then we'll give like $1 back or something like that per pint that we sell that night in the tap room. And then around the holidays and around beginning of the school, so the end of July, early August, we'll do backpack drives and like a coat and toiletry drive for the students who really are just down the street from us in Riverside.
Yeah, so this past year we started food trucks. So prior to COVID, I actually tried a pumpkin painting party in the neighborhood park. And that was still successful, even though it was only a few families showed up. But it was still a really great time. And I was hopeful that after that it would grow. We could maybe do it annually and people would know about it and we could keep moving forward. But then the pandemic hit. And so we took a year off. I didn't do anything for a year. And then I went to a neighborhood meeting in early 2021. They went ahead and had it. We were all masked up and socially distanced. And in that neighborhood meeting, I really found the courage to advocate for more community activities. And so I asked if there'd be interest in something like a food truck night. And people seemed excited about it. So from there, that night I came home and I made a Facebook poll and I asked people what all different types of things they'd be interested in that was in community engagement. And the food truck night was really kind of highly voted. And so I was able to implement that in 2021.
Yeah, so athletic bands is all of the band that goes along with athletics. So marching band during football season, and we've got a basketball band during basketball season. So we have a marching band during football, we play in the stands, we have shows on the fields. And then of course for basketball, we're up in Hinkle Fieldhouse cheering on the men's and women's basketball team, which is a really fun experience.
What was your inspiration to start all of this work in your community?
Well, it's kind of like it just happened. I was focused on one goal, and God had another goal. And now that I'm in my purpose, I'm really excited and energetic in watching these kids grow up to be wonderful adults. Yeah, it's exciting right now just to see a change in a child will come in. They're very angry, don't know why, how to express their feelings, and working with us, we tell the parents to give us some time to work with them. We put a behavior modification in place, and what that looks like is, where is the child here? The child is at a level C or E, and we need them to be at an A, which is great. A is always great. So we work with them on 10-second rules when you're angry. Learn to walk away for 10 seconds. Count. Even if you have to count on out, 10, 9, 8, count down, or 1, 2, 3, to control yourself. And if you feel someone is picking on you, there's affirmations that you tell yourself so it doesn't bother you. I am a good person. I love myself. I am loved. I am beautiful. And they work, the more we see the child's behavior change, they let us move back. We've had encountered some bullying, and we've helped bullies, and we've helped children being bullied. And we didn't know a child of ours was bullying kids at school until one of the kids they were bullying came here to our program. And that allowed us to put a whole thing in place, like how do we get the bullier and the bully to communicate on who they are and how much powerful they can be if they work together as a team, instead of one feeling like they got more power than the other. So now actually it's like they're really good friends right now. The bullying has been stopped.
What's so inspiring is working with young people, trying to create an ecosystem of youth just doing their thing and having a marketplace for them to sell their goods and services. And so youth have a whole bunch of ingenuity, and they're innovative and they're creative, and so we want to use that with STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and just turning the kids loose to see what creations and innovations that they can come up with.
Well, I consider, Broad Ripple, Meridian, Kessler, Rocky Ripple, South Broad Ripple, to me it all combines together, and I consider it just my surrounding community, and want to be a part of something where I live. It was being a part of the community and improving it, but also what I love about the village is small businesses, family-owned businesses, individual-owned businesses. It's not as if you're walking into a chain restaurant or a chain establishment. You're walking into something that is loved and cared for by an individual, by a family, by a group of passionate people. And I want to support those businesses. And part of supporting those businesses is making sure that the village thrives. And I see it thriving when it is put together, it's clean, it's vibrant, that there's energy, that it's safe, and that people know what's available to them. I think many times, because there are so many opportunities and so many new businesses that come in and out, sometimes people don't know exactly what's available to them. So being able to share that information and get people to shop local, I love that about the village.
When we saw the location back in 2016, we just saw a lot of opportunity there. The idea of pairing our brand, which focuses more on the cozy cabin vibe, and we brew really bold, unique beers. So the idea of pairing that with a spot where we could feature black and white photos of this historic racing center that meant so much to the city of Indianapolis then and now was just really intriguing to us, so we decided to go for it. Yeah, so when we opened our expansion, so kind of the backstory is we opened in a house built in 1916, and we opened in 2019 after renovating for 2 years. And so that house, we brewed in the basement for 2 years, and then we opened on this expanded footprint right across our beer garden this past summer. So when we opened that, we tried to keep it as local as we could. We hired a local woman woodworker, Kim McNeilin, who is amazing, and she built all of our tables in our tap room. And then we hired 2 local muralists as well, Justin Vining and Blyce Edwards, and they beautified our entryway and a wall in our tap room. We hand-built the bars with the bricks from the Boyle Racing headquarters from the 30s and 40s. And
wow.
Yeah, I could probably go on, but that's kind of a summary. I think there's 2 different ways that we've tried to focus on community. And so that's like creating the tap room community space for people. If you want to come and meet friends, you can gather in that way, or if you want to come and have some alone time and like just read a book, it's kind of meant to be that space that anybody can feel welcomed in. And so we focused on like the beer community and bringing in people that way, but then also being just able to give back. And really what has inspired us is just being there. We're driving there every day from Broad Ripple. It's really not too far of a drive at all. And so we spend almost as much time in Riverside as we do here in Broad Ripple where we live. And being able to make even a small impact there has been our goal. We have plans for much more, but being just 2.5 years old, like we're trying to do the best we can.
So when I grew up in the 90s, and I grew up in a East Side neighborhood. where we all knew each other. I lived on the same street for the majority of my life. We all knew our neighbors. I played with the kids, you know, on streets behind me and in front of me. And there was just a really big sense of community. And I've always wanted that, especially as I grew my family. So when we moved into this neighborhood, I knew there was a lot of potential for it, but I also knew that our homes weren't really built for it. There weren't a lot of porches. Our garages are attached to our homes. But there is sidewalks, and there is a neighborhood park, and there's ponds, and they do a neighborhood yard sale, and we have great trick-or-treaters. Like, I knew there was a potential for us to do more. So I just had to kind of put in the work to make it happen.
Yeah, so I started off with my bachelor's of music education and taught in Michigan for a few years. And I knew that I wanted to do like high school band or something a little higher level than elementary or middle school music. It was just more appealing to me. So I decided I wanted to get a master's degree and decided in conducting. When I went to Butler, I ended up getting the graduate assistantship in athletic bands. And I truly didn't have that much experience with it before. And I went to the director at the time and said, you know, I know that I need these skills. If I want to do high school, if I want to do college, can you teach me? And he said yes. And, you know, over the 2 years of my master's program, I just fell in love with all athletic bands is. And just the age group too, being able to mentor the students, kind of walking alongside them, teaching high level music, fun music, being that person for them that, you know, if they're having a rough day, that they can come down to my office and eat some chocolate. And, you know, I always tell them I have chocolate. But, you know, just the entire work as a whole, it wasn't just the music for me. It wasn't just, you know, being around students, it was everything. So then when I had the opportunity to take over this role, I jumped at it. I definitely wanted to continue what I had been working through.
It's been a struggle. Just gonna be honest. It's been very, very hard, but me and my staff have definitely pulled through to put some things together in perspective. We meet weekly on what can we do better and what that looks like and how can we improve to accommodate, you know, like one day, 5:30 in the morning calls, or you're gonna have children in the building. When we wasn't expecting children in the building, so we have to prepare for that. And I have a pretty good team that really handles that very well without any problems. So, but it's like I said, it's been rough. It's getting better, but then you feel like it's getting better, and then it's not getting better, but we're trying.
Into virtual, and so we would be doing Zoom meetings with kids, man, and then when the attendance to going into community centers was raised up, we would knock on doors. We had we had masks, we had the lotions, we had the hand sanitizers, and all of those things that would make our place safe for the kids to come out and be a part of. So we were real resilient in doing those things, knocking on doors, visiting our kids, trying to address social isolation issues because the kids couldn't come out and COVID had kept them in. And so we wanted to make sure that we were in person talking to them and doing a lot of things because they weren't able to visit each other, visit the schools or community centers in our community. We were doing some hybrid. So some we were doing in person and some we were doing virtually. And so that really worked. And then it also gave the kids an opportunity to test what they had learned through e-learning as it relates to technology. And so we were all interested in seeing what this technology would do, and it kept us in contact with each other. It helped us with to deal with social isolation that these kids were had cabin fever. They were stuck in the house wanting to get out and do different things, and so that allowed us to at least be able to communicate on a daily basis with all the kids that are part of our program.
You know, I think everyone's tried to adapt in the best way that they can. You know, there's I'm sure a lot of debate about certain moves that were made and choices that were made by individual businesses or the city. But I see that what we're trying to do is promote small businesses, promote more businesses to come in. We have actually a new program we're going to kick off called Broad Ripple Indiana Perks. And that is, if you are a member of Broad Ripple Village Association, you pay your membership dues and you receive a card. And that card entitles you to discounts and offers from several local businesses. So, I think we're experimenting really, and I don't know that there's one answer to thriving through a pandemic, but it's a series of just trying what works and really the community rallying around each other during a time like this.
So during COVID, so we opened in 2019 and then we had to shut down all of our operations in March of 2020, like the rest of the country, really. And so then when we were able to reopen, well, we did carry out sales for a while, so we were at least able to serve the community beer drinkers that wanted to be able to take beer home and support local. So we were able to do that for a few months, and then we opened our beer garden, and so we were able to provide an outdoor safe place for people through all of the summer of 2020. And then into the winter as well. So we'd have people come down in their ski gear and enjoy beer outside in a safe environment. And so all of that support and being able to continue to stay open in some ways and be able to can and provide the to-go option helped us persevere and make it through COVID so that we could open this bigger project that we've been working on in 2021, which led to us being able to hire a lot more people and provide jobs both in the tap room, and then we have a kitchen aspect as well.
So we started the food trucks during the pandemic. I think in some way it helped us because I think people really longed to have that human connection and wanted to do things, but needed to do it safely. So the fact that food trucks are outside, it's individual food portions, it's, it's not a pitch-in, it's not a potluck, it's not, your neighbor grilling. It feels like the safest way to do something like this. But we were able to do food trucks between June and October of 2021, and really make a way for us to, feel safe, but together and build community.
Within the Butler community specifically, even, our athletic bands did take a dive last year, which was really unfortunate. But we built back up. I mean, this year we're in full swing again, and we thought that we were going to take dives in our numbers. And we really didn't. I think students are just more eager than ever to get back into playing music, being around other students. And even JCA as a whole, the Jordan College of the Arts at Butler, even throughout last year when athletic bands wasn't happening, they were still rehearsing the wind ensemble and the orchestra, and students were still having recitals and concerts. That was just something that we knew we couldn't stop just because, there's a pandemic. Of course, the way we did it was different. I've never had to think about spacing out my students 6 feet apart, front and back and side to side before, and making sure they have masks that they can, put their instruments in. But we did it, so I think that certainly shows the resilience of, the Butler community, the musicians at Butler. We weren't going to stop making music and serving our community just because, there's a pandemic.
What do you hope to bring to your community?
Healthy families. That is my number one goal here is healthy families. What we do, when I say healthy families, what we do once a quarter, we hold an event called Dinner with the Family. And since COVID, a lot of parents don't have time to we've learned, a lot of parents don't have time to sit down with their kids because they're working 2 or 3 jobs. So once every quarter we hold Dinner with the Family. That allows the parents to come into the back, sit down and have a meal with their family, with their child. And we provide catered food, and the child will get up and say what a family means to me. And so parents can listen to see what family looks like to their child. And I just want we ramp it up every towards the end, it gets bigger and bigger. Last year, we gave out awards to families since we recognize parents who's a single parent who worked hard and trying to do her best with her children. They got the Parent of the Year award. That mother was so excited. She couldn't believe somebody was paying attention to her and how she treats her kids and what she do for her kids. And we recognized her. We had a new family that started last summer, and the mother was going through a situation, and she invited us in, and she got the Village Award. So we want to recognize families and let them know they're not in this alone. And this is why we call ourselves the Village. We offer an extension of what you're going through. We have resources to help a lot of our parents. If we feel that they need it, we ask them, is it okay that we give these people the information out? They say yes, and we connect them with different organizations in the community that in promoting healthy families.
What we hope to bring is the innovation and the creativity and the technology that the kids have within them, showing them how to code, showing them how to program robots, financial literacy, and those different types of things. So we want to build wealth at a young level, at a young age. And so we're building an ecosystem of just youth trading their goods and services, making things, being innovative and those types of things, and then going into the marketplace to be able to sell their goods and services at a young age. And then the progression would be, as they get older, they would already know how to do this stuff and would already know how to manage money and those different types of things, thus creating Black wealth.
So in the next year, what I hope to do, taking on a bigger role within beautification, is to create more engagement, more volunteers, and more sustainability. The Broderpool Village has so many opportunities for improvement in how we manage trash, improvement in abating graffiti, improvement in landscaping, bringing more native trees and plants to the area, more flowers. There's so much opportunity, but we need a village of volunteers to make that happen. So I'm putting together the concept of adopt a block, essentially. So you have block champions, individuals who will kind of be the spirit and voice and the cheerleaders for a certain area of the village. They'll partner with the businesses, they'll get out and they'll do some of the work and get their hands dirty a bit, but importantly, we'll create a network of volunteers who are constantly looking out for beautification. And I anticipate we're going to work on also some grants that will help us add more art installations, primarily covering spaces that are vandalized often and creating those eclectic, funky spaces within Broderpool that really are part of its spirit as well.
Our values as a company, like we created those back in 2016, and it's to brew bold, unique beers that people enjoy drinking, to create a welcoming, warm, and place for people to hang out and to be, and then it was to be passionate about what we do and to make the choices to create a business that we want to create. So if it means spending a little bit more on the compostable packaging because we feel better about that and we know that that's better for our community and our environment, then we really try to do that. And being a small business, it's hard to make those choices. But if you're kind of led by values of trying to make it bigger than just ourselves. And that's one of the things that I guess I've loved as a community, that's one of the things I've loved as a business owner, is being able to give people a spot that they feel safe. And so all through COVID, we're still going through this extremely challenging time, both as a parent, as a business owner, as just a community member in general. And when we've had people that keep coming back and say that it was one of the safest places they felt going during COVID, and being able to give them that kind of out to come and get out of their house, that's been humbling as well.
I definitely, the sense of community that I envision of knowing your neighbors and supporting each other and really leaning on each other in times of need and in celebration. But also I think buy-in is really important to me. And right now I think that's what I'm really hoping for. With the food trucks last year, we had some people express interest in doing like a fair, like a farmer's market or a craft fair, and having tables. And so I've gotten approval from our HOA, and we're gonna plan that for July of 2022. And I've got people saying that they're really interested in having a booth, but I'm still working on getting people who are saying they're wanting to join like a planning committee. And that's something that I'm still struggling with, but I think with time and persistence, and some one-on-one conversations, I can hopefully grow that area of our community as well.
You know, I think more awareness that we're an ensemble, you know, that we have so much fun with what we do, you know, and then also bringing that joy of what we do and pride for Butler, pride for the Butler way, pride for our athletics teams, you know, that's what we're there to do. We're there to support our teams, and to have a lot of fun doing it. So pride keeps coming to mind. We just want to build pride in our campus and in our school, and do that through music and through cheering on our teams.